These I just tore apart one of my projects and took these out. These are nice transformers. A pair of them. This was a choke that come out of it. These are a fender replacement from Antique Auto Parts. Antique Radio Auto Parts, or whatever it's called. So this thing here is one of my projects from a long time ago. And what it is this thing. The amplifier works. I had to make sure I had the correct tube in here. The problem is the compressor part. I can use it. I haven't used it in many years. It's a bass guitar amp, GA100. Only reason I built is because of the compressor stuff. This is part of the compressor. What I couldn't understand when I was building this a long time ago was this a 2.2 meg or a 22 meg, but I think it's a 2.2 meg. And I think my problem is I used orange drop capacitors here, and it's got overkill. So the tubes are, a 6EU7. Was this a 6EU7? Yeah, I wish I wouldn't have used those, but the problem with these tubes are pin 1 and 2 are the filaments. Gain-wise, I think they're the same as a 12AX7, but so the tubes we use here, I guess I did use a 6EU7, 6BD6. If you use a 6AU6, you get a lot more gain. You can use like a 6BZ6. A lot of these IF tubes you can use here. But sometimes the cathodes and grid number 3s are rearranged on these, so they're tied together, so it doesn't matter. The 6 FM8s, 2 of those, that's these. There's 2 diodes and a triode in these things. I don't think when I built this, I don't think I used the best tube sockets. They got issues. These come out of a Roberts reel-to-reel, and I wish I would have used them. This one feels tighter. This one is loose as hell. I was going to have 4 6L6s. I left the kitchen open here for another output transformer. So I'm going to, like I say, this compressor part, I have this switch. I don't know how I have things. But if you take like this here and if you allow this to change the control grid voltage there, you ain't gonna hear nothing because it's so active. I was gonna put a potentiometer on the back of it and have it adjustable, but prior to doing that, I'm gonna replace like these things with plate capacitors instead of the orange drop. I'll probably leave that as orange drop if it is one for a delay, maybe. So these are the 6, like the 6AU6s here. It's a pretty cool unit, but it's not a very popular amp because I don't think it was made for rock and roll because you like distortion. Here's that C2 right here. I guess I made a negative power supply in there. Sometimes I will cheat and use a cathode bias. Okay, I'm going to pause this and shut out the lights and turn this thing on. Back on. This is February 19th, 2025. Probably what I should have did is hook my single generator and a speaker up to this. So right now, here's what I got. I thought I would do it because of I still have light shining in from outside with no lights on. So I'm going to try this thing. So I got the 6EU7 on the corner, those 6EM7s or whatever they are, and the two 6BD6s or whatever. Nothing there. Two of the crappiest 6L6s I bought many years ago. Bought a whole bunch of them. They're not much garbage. So here we go. Where's the switch? Okay, here we go. Now. So that's what it looks like. So this has two diodes. Well, these are probably kicking in. And this is the bias adjustment here. 5Y3 or 5U4. Without a broken index on it. A lot of times from guitar amps, these things are always broken. You gotta look for the index on it and figure it out, which ain't too hard. It usually shows you evidence of how it goes. Trying to focus it. So these things are not like a 6T8. I think this has one more diode or two independent diodes. And a 6T8 has a diode with the cathode of the triode, I think. And it has an independent diode or something. I don't know what it has. Here's the 6EU7. Identical to a 12AX7 in probably amplification, but everything else is different. The filaments are pin 1 and 2, and everything is different. I wish I would have used 12AX7, but I didn't. So now I'll flip it upside down, shut it off, and flip it upside down. I'll pull this one. But I plan on actually getting this thing going, even though the compressor isn't for rock and roll. So I don't think it's made for music, really. It's made for voice, or if you're playing acoustical guitar through it. So if you're playing light finger picking, then you start hitting chords, it might pull back and quit, not allow it to distort. But for bass amp, this is a bass amp, so it's not ideal for a bass. I don't believe. But it never worked properly for me. It's back on here. So I used a lot of good style capacitors. So here's I knew it was the guitar input because of the 68K resistors. So you got one bright or high impedance, one low impedance, and so with this, so I was going to have two speakers. The only speaker hooked up at this audio output transformer is this one. I think the two could be paired together. I'm not sure. So we got the three diodes, the opposite flow of DC voltage to prevent those spikes that they do on guitar amps. We got the ground going to chassis. Here is probably the negative power supply. And pull back, and I notice I have my phone too close to stuff. That's because I got these reading glasses on that really pull my face up to stuff. High-powered SOBs. I notice I don't use the best quality capacitors. Those ones with the U I'm not a big fan of. So here's the 6EU7, and those other tubes are right here. So with this thing here, I have a cut wire. I just seen it. This cut wire, I don't know why I cut that. That's probably in between the two 220K resistors, or looks like a 3.9K resistor. I got to study it out. I just got rid of my 807 amplifier because I'm never going to finish it. I had it enough, but I wanted to continue with this thing. Whether this is out of the Groove Tube. I have a Groove Tube book from a long time ago. So I have this switch, I think, on the compressor. I'm kind of shaky here if I go one-handed. But I'm interested in the compressor part, getting it working properly. It'll work, but if I allow the compressor, I mean, it only has this one switch here for compression. You either have it on compression or you don't. If you put it on compression, you'll play something into it and it'll just go almost silent. So I think that's the film capacitors there versus if I had plate ceramic capacitors. So the 220Ks come together. It has a 0.05 to ground, then it comes to the two plates here. So if that feeds negative voltage, it's going to make those close down. So I'm going to leave the film capacitor in there if it's there. I'm sure I got a 2.2 meg resistor there. I'll find that part of the circuit here. I have to shut this off right. I don't think I can find it looking through this. I used to know where all this stuff was at. I don't even know the values of these anymore. I don't know how to read these resistors really. I got some up here. I think they're the multiplier ones. Maybe it's, yeah, it's multipliers. I don't like those. Here's my 2.2 meg. So here's the compressor. This is probably the 0.05 that I say I'll leave. Is that burnt? It might be. I think it's yellow. 100K resistor. No, it's just a 100K resistor, fireproof. So here's the 2.2 meg. So this is the compressor part. There should be two 220Ks going to each 6BA6 or whatever you have in here. BD6. I even bought two Gibson tubes like that with the name on it. Paid quite a bit of money for them, but so I should be able to use it for something. But the compressor part, that's the reason I built it, was for the compressor. I like interesting projects, so even though I know a compressor is not what you need for, you know, a bass. You'd have the whippiest bass sounding in town. But for an acoustical guitar or just playing around, it's okay. This is like what they would use for microphones, I would think. And playing acoustical guitars, so you hit hard, it'll pull back. This will go more negative, and if you're light, then the compressor will back off and let the control grids go more towards 0 volts or positive direction. So it's an interesting thing. I'll get the booklet out of it. It's in. So this is the one. Volume 3. A lot of good stuff in there. gold top, a lot of good things. Those things, I never cared for those, but I'd take a half a dozen of them. Box. I paid $25 for this a long time ago. It's well worth it, I think. So this is one of the pages out of there. Focus it somehow. So when I get it hooked up, I'm going to hook up my audio generator to it. I should have done that. And this hole here is supposed to be where the indicator goes, but I had a hole saw. I let it wobble. I knew it was wobbling, and now you need like fender washers in it. And chassis properly grounded. So I just have to get back into it and study it somewhat again. And so I either have to, I think I'm going to change this to a plate capacitor again, as I repeated it for about the 8th time. I don't think this has to be replaced. I think that could stay the orange drops. That has nothing to do with timing. So these capacitors in here, these 0.1s, will have to be replaced. That'd probably be very important to replace those instead of these big orange drops wherever they are. I don't even know where they are. These are feeding from to the power tubes. That's those. That's those 0.05s. So this would be very important to replace that with a plate capacitor and a plate capacitor. That looks like electrolytic. Everything, I think I got the proper resistors for everything. That should be replaced with a plate capacitor. Everything to do with timing, because it's too damn severe. I'm not going to say it's slow or fast, it's just severe. It just wipes it down. It just wipes that, make that control grid go so negative, it just takes it out of operation. Otherwise, put a potentiometer here and have like a volume coming in to, we got 2 of these. So there's a 0.02, a 0.02. But there's, I don't remember how it gets the signal from So we got a 0.02 coming from this control grid up to there. We got a 0.02 going on this side, so it's got the push-pull thing going already right there. Or yeah, the signal coming from the plate. Where the hell is it? Signal coming from the plate to that grid, and signal coming from the cathode to that grid. So it'd be hard to put a volume control in it, but you could put a potentiometer to feed this. So it's not so severe to throw that so negative. That's okay, that's probably what I thought I would do. So I will hook this up to a guitar and a generator and a speaker and see what happens and see what I can do, and then I will I'll hook a guitar up to it right now. I can try it. You never know. Hook a speaker into it. I have to turn this back on for a second so it don't shut off on me for good. I'm almost there. Okay, we just turned everything up. So. See the, as soon as I, so now you can hear the gain. If I go like that, it does that. Pulls it right down. It's like watching Gunsmoke. When you hear silence on Gunsmoke, the hiss comes way up. So I have the volume all the way up. I'll pull that out. I'd assume I'm in the bright channel. So if I take and hit a string, it sounds like it's going to be really loud. Let me get my on the other side of the guitar here. So if I now say when I hit it, if I hit this, it's going to kick it right down. Got the center pickup on. I'll put this pickup on. It's in humbucker mode. That's what it does. But if I short out the, if I take that where the two 220Ks come together here, if I short that out to ground, then it will work like a normal amplifier. Or actually if I pull the compressor tubes out, it will. So anybody in the bands would probably take these out and throw them away. It affects both sides. I wonder why. So you can watch the voltage go way negative. These things, this produce a lot of negative voltage. I don't know how much. Enough to obviously to swamp them out. And I think if you go counterclockwise, this is going to go more negative on the control grid. If you go positive, I think it's going to go more towards 0 volts. Uh-oh, now we got tremolo going. Doesn't have tremolo. Put my hand over here, we get tremolo. Probably something to do with this. Yeah, I can hear it squeaking. Doesn't have tremolo. Where's that other damn tube? I have tubes like this that do the other color. No, it went away. have the ultraviolet light or whatever. Don't seem like that next one is doing anything. So I got to get an indicator light for here. I have one, but now it's doing the tremolo thing. If I could put my hand by the 6L6, that's when the tremolo started. There it goes. That's reflection. I don't think 5U4 is red plate. Uh-oh. Lost it. Oh. I think it goes this way. There. Rattle and hum. I'm not going to put, if I put two more 6L6s in there, I have to put another 50 watt transformer there, or put a 100 watt one here, which it ain't going to fit, and put a big transformer here, which ain't going to fit. I didn't give any thought to that, so I'm just going to remove those two tube sockets, or just remove everything from them and you can keep a spare set there available in case you need them. Most guitar players actually is a bass amp, so it's good. This is gonna sound like shit. It's gonna have too much bass. It's not, the guitar signal's not thinned enough. You could thin it and make it sound better, but it is a bass amp. I'm gonna let these cool off for a bit. I'm gonna let these cool off for a bit and put them in cold. Sometimes I would stick them in a refrigerator to cool them quicker. Okay, that's what it. Oh, bad it sounds. The guitar ain't no good either. Got a high action, so anything you do will be out of tune, most likely. Okay, quickly do this. Center pickup. Evidently the pickup must be picking up something from this damn tube. Or no, it's one of these. Probably one of those. Learn something new every day. Oh well. This has to be shut off right now. I'm out of time.